I'm Tim Schultz, and I'm honored to be leading off our JRN 566 features. Last May, John Delaney was named the 10th head coach in Quinnipiac baseball program history. Since retiring from professional baseball, Delaney has moved on to coaching, taking over from Quinnipiac's all-time winningest manager, Skip Gooley. And for the first time since 2007, the Bobcats have a chance to finish with a winning record. I sat down with Delaney and discussed his time in the minors and his Bobcat baseball life. The life of a minor league baseball player is a long, arduous road full of uncertainties. You're never home. You're on the road for 9 months of the year. Every day that you miss is a chance that you're not going to get better just to make it to another season. At 29 years old, John Delaney has already ventured that winding path through various pit stops.
When I really thought that I had a chance of playing in professional ball was probably when I was in college. That was always my aspirations. When I was in high school, I wanted to play at Division I school. Wanted to be in the big leagues at that point too. And then in college, I was a good player in high school. I was never the kid on the field that everyone was like, wow, he does everything great. I was good. I did a lot of things good, and nothing was exceptional. And then when I got to college was where I really developed as a whole baseball player.
He just totally demonstrated that he could hit line drives in gaps. Every ball that was hit in a gap, John Delaney was on second base. And then he turned around and he worked very hard on his bunting. But the key ingredient in John that he developed was his defensive prowess. He was outstanding at third base.
The Milwaukee Brewers selected Delaney in the 25th round of the 2008 first-year player draft following his senior year. He then joined the Brewers' rookie-level club in Helena as the team's third baseman. He moved up in the system and started for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers in 2009 until injury struck. Delaney suffered a torn quad a few weeks into the season and then suffered a concussion shortly after returning. He was shut down for the season after suffering a second concussion less than a month later.
Everything was going right, and all of a sudden there were talks of me moving up, going up to high A at that point, and then the injuries hit. Injuries is the one thing that it's either injuries or guys can't afford it anymore. That's what takes you out of pro ball. And for me, it was the injuries.
After he got injured, that was a very frustrating time for him because he felt really close to getting close to the next step. And I think that was very difficult for him. I don't think he's a great competitor, and that really wore on him. But once he came back and he and I had an opportunity to talk, and we talked about the possibility of getting into college baseball coaching. At that point in time, I knew that there was something very special that he wanted to offer to people.
When did you realize that coaching was a definite possibility for you?
When I finished playing, whether it was 15 years in the big leagues or not, I wanted to get into college coaching. So for me, is it worth me waiting and trying to live that dream for another 3-4 years and try to play in some organizations and grind it and then still not make it and then try to get into coaching, or should I kickstart my career now? To me, that was the biggest thing, was to let go of the fact that it's not going to happen anymore, and let's get started on a new journey.
After spending 2 years as an assistant at Sacred Heart and Hartford, Delaney returned home to Quinnipiac.
I knew once I wanted to coach, I wanted to come back to Quinnipiac, whether it was my first coaching job, my last coaching job as an assistant, head coach. There was some point I was going to come back here. I didn't know when. I didn't know if it was going to be 50 years from now. At some point it was going to happen.
10 years after playing his first game at Quinnipiac, John Delaney's baseball life as a Bobcat came full circle. Delaney managed his first game as head coach this spring.
This was a job that I had always dreamed of ever since I left here, because if it wasn't for my opportunity here, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to play in professional baseball. So to come back here and try to give another kid an opportunity from Quinnipiac to go back into professional ball was a big thing for me.
When we were going to turn the reins over to someone else, we had to make sure that the program was safe, it was solid, it was in great hands. And I could not have wished or picked a better person to be the head baseball coach at this university than John Delaney.
You know, if you come to a game and watch him, he's very intense. So people may get the impression that, you know, he's this really strict, crazy lunatic in the dugout, but he's really not. He's a very, very nice guy, and like I said before, he'll do anything for you. I mean, he'll give you the shirt off his back if he had to.
Besides winning conference championships, what drives you?
What drives me here is to see kids progress. You know, we want to win, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, hey, it's okay to lose, because I don't think I'd be telling you the right things, because every coach wants to win. We want to win a conference title, we want to win a regular season title, we want to be in the regional, and we want to compete nationally. But what makes me drive is seeing a kid go from being a good ball player to an exceptional ball player, to a prospect. And having kids take steps, small steps every day, every year, and develop, that's what really matters to me. I want to see a kid go from being his freshman year to being a good player to, by the senior year, being a leader and one of the best players in New England. And when I was a player, I always wanted to make sure I beat everybody out. That was my work ethic and that was my mindset. So having these guys with that mindset to try to be the best player in the field is something that I want these kids to take with them.
Loyalty, dedication, and persistence are the three qualities that Skip Gooley used to describe Delaney as a player, coach, and human being. John Delaney may not have made it to the majors, but in the eyes of others, he has made it as a coach. For Bobcats Tonight, I'm Tim Schultz.